She was alone at the dance. The grand ballroom sparkled under the warm glow of crystal chandeliers. Soft golden light danced across polished marble floors, casting gentle shadows between the elegant columns that lined the walls. Sarah Matthews stood near the refreshment table, her fingers wrapped around a glass of sparkling water, watching couples glide across the dance floor in perfect harmony. The annual charity gala was everything she had imagined it would be. Women in flowing evening gowns moved like graceful swans, their partners leading them in waltz after waltz. The orchestra played softly from the corner, their music floating through the air like silk ribbons. Sarah had dreamed of attending this event for months, carefully saving money from her teaching salary to afford the elegant navy dress she wore tonight. But now, standing alone while everyone else seemed to have someone, Sarah felt a familiar ache in her chest. She had come by herself, hoping that perhaps, hoping for something she couldn't quite name. Her best friend Emma had encouraged her to come, insisting that Sarah deserved a night of luxury and beauty after the difficult year she'd had. Sarah took a slow sip of her water and let her eyes wander around the room. The decorations were breathtaking. White roses and baby's breath adorned every table, their sweet fragrance mixing with the subtle scent of expensive perfumes. Candles flickered in tall glass holders, creating pools of warm light that made everything seem magical. She watched as a young couple laughed together near the windows, the woman's hand resting gently on her partner's arm. Another pair swept past her, so lost in their conversation that they seemed to be in their own private world. Sarah felt invisible, like a ghost haunting someone else's fairy tale. The loneliness wasn't new to her. Since her divorce 2 years ago, Sarah had grown accustomed to doing things alone. She went to movies by herself, ate dinner at restaurants with only a book for company, and spent weekends exploring museums and parks in solitude. Most of the time, she had made peace with her independence. But tonight, surrounded by all this romance and elegance, the silence felt heavier than usual. She moved slowly toward one of the tall windows that overlooked the city. The view was stunning. Lights twinkled like earthbound stars, and she could see people walking along the sidewalks far below, their lives continuing in the world outside this enchanted evening. Beautiful view, isn't it? The voice came from beside her, deep and gentle. Sarah turned to find a man standing nearby, also looking out at the city. He was tall, with kind brown eyes and dark hair touched with silver at the temples. His black tuxedo was perfectly tailored, but there was something unpretentious about the way he carried himself. "Yes," Sarah replied softly. "It makes everything down there look so peaceful." The man smiled, a genuine expression that reached his eyes. "I'm David Chen," he said, extending his hand. "And you are Sarah Matthews." She shook his hand, noticing how warm and steady his grip was. "Sarah," he repeated, as if testing how her name sounded. "Are you enjoying the evening?" Sarah glanced back at the dance floor, then met his gaze. Something in his expression made her feel safe enough to be honest. "It's beautiful," she said carefully. "Though I have to admit, I feel a bit out of place." David nodded thoughtfully. "I understand that feeling. I've been coming to these events for years, and sometimes they can feel more like performance than celebration." There was something in his tone that made Sarah curious. "You sound like you speak from experience." He chuckled softly. "You could say that. I help organize this particular event. My company sponsors the children's hospital wing that benefits from tonight's fundraising." Sarah felt her cheeks warm slightly. "Oh, I didn't realize. I mean, I should probably thank you then. This is all so lovely." "Please, don't feel awkward," David said quickly. "I didn't mention it to impress you. I just wanted you to know that despite all the glamour, what really matters is the cause we're supporting tonight." They stood in comfortable silence for a moment, both looking out at the city lights. Sarah found herself relaxing in his presence. There was no pressure, no expectation in the air between them. "Would you like to dance?" David asked suddenly, then quickly added, "Only if you want to, of course. I noticed you seemed to be enjoying the music." Sarah's heart fluttered, but not with anxiety. With something warmer, something hopeful. "I'd like that," she heard herself say. David offered his arm, and they walked slowly to the edge of the dance floor. As they found a quiet spot among the other couples, Sarah felt nervous butterflies in her stomach. It had been so long since she'd danced with anyone. But as David's hand found her waist and she placed her palm in his, all her worry seemed to melt away. He led her gently into the music, never rushing, always giving her time to follow his steps. They moved together as if they had been dancing for years, finding a rhythm that felt natural and right. "You're a wonderful dancer," David said softly as they swayed to the orchestra's gentle melody. "So are you," Sarah replied, surprised by how true it was. "I was worried I'd forgotten how." "Dancing is like kindness," David said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Once you learn it, it stays with you. You just need the right partner to remember." As the song continued, Sarah felt something shifting inside her chest. The loneliness that had felt so heavy earlier was lifting, replaced by a warmth she had almost forgotten existed. This wasn't just about dancing. This was about connection, about two people finding each other in a room full of strangers. When the music ended, David didn't immediately let go of her hand. "Would you like to step outside for some air?" he asked. "There's a garden terrace. It's much quieter." Sarah nodded, and they made their way through the crowd to a pair of glass doors that opened onto a stone terrace overlooking a small garden. The night air was cool and fresh, a welcome change from the warmth of the ballroom. They walked slowly along a path lined with softly glowing lanterns. The sound of the party faded behind them, replaced by the gentle whisper of wind through leaves and the distant hum of the city. "Can I tell you something?" David said as they paused beside a small fountain. "Of course. I almost didn't come tonight. I've been to so many of these events, and they all start to feel the same. But something made me change my mind at the last minute." Sarah looked at him curiously. "What was it?" David smiled, and in the soft lantern light, his face looked younger, more vulnerable. "I think I was hoping to find something real. Something genuine in all the performance." "And did you?" Sarah asked, her heart beating faster. "Yes," he said simply. "I did." As they stood there in the garden, Sarah realized that sometimes the best things in life come when you least expect them. She had come to the dance alone, feeling invisible and forgotten. But now, under the stars with this kind, genuine man beside her, she felt seen and valued in a way she had almost given up hoping for. The evening was far from over, but Sarah already knew that this night had changed something fundamental in her life. Sometimes, being alone isn't about loneliness. Sometimes, it's about being ready for the right moment, the right person, the right beginning. And this, she thought as David gently took her hand, felt very much like a beautiful beginning.